So today we're going to talk all about the Mobilize program. This is going to be the most up-to-date version of our Mobilize orientation and a great way to answer all of your questions to determine if you think the program may or may not be right for you. So we're going to talk all about different locations that are in the program, what the specifics are. We're going to answer any one of your questions and concerns before we jump into this. And then if at the end of this program, at the end of this orientation, you're still crazy enough to want to join us, then I'm going to walk you through how to start the interview process. So today, again, we're going to talk all about the Mobilize initiative, and I'm going to try to answer all of your questions as we jump into this. So let's get started. What is the Mobilize program? Mobilize was created in January of 2015 as a National Youth Employment Initiative. Now, youth generally is about 18 to 30 in my mind, but we're going to talk more specifically about that a little later. And it's an opportunity for young people to travel across Canada while working, gaining an income, and earning free housing. So I'll go into detail on each one of those categories in a little bit, but the main intention for this program is to travel, to have an incredible adventure, and to explore Canada, all while working and having your accommodations covered. So we're going to make sure that you are able to see the country in a safe way while building your resume and growing yourself personally and professionally. The main benefit of this program is that you get the opportunity to taste many different jobs in several different locations over the course of your time in the program. So what that means is every 4 to 6 months, you and your friends will have the opportunity to travel to a new city to work for a different employer, in many cases in a totally different job. So this doesn't have to be a short-term program. We set the caps at around 4 to 6 months per placement, with the main intention of understanding that you can stay as long as you want. The main reason why I don't say you have to make a 1 or a 2 or a 5-year commitment is because who wants to think that far ahead? I won't be upset if you stick with the program for 6 months and then decide, you know what, I had a great time traveling, but I'm ready to move on. But if you'd like, you can remain with the program for a very long time. You can keep traveling. I have several individuals well into their 2nd year with Mobilize and have no indication that they want to stop traveling. So one of the main benefits of this program is the opportunity to meet lots of different people. Both personally, the individuals that you're going to be traveling with are some of the most incredible people I have ever met. It's kind of the type of person who wants to jump on a bus or a train or a plane and travel halfway across the country on a 6-month or a 1-year adventure. They're all phenomenal, outgoing, crazy people. They're really motivated, trying to grab as much as they can out of life, and are all in similar positions to you, which is in a role of trying to discover who you are and what you're looking for on this planet, what you're looking for out of a job, out of a career, out of any long-term potential commitment. So the type of people you'll meet will end up becoming lifelong friends, much like if you have a college roommate, you may end up staying in touch with that person because you've gone through so much together. With a program like this, there's a very good chance you're going to be snowboarding or cross-country skiing or jumping out of an airplane or doing all kinds of crazy adventures, which will end up bringing you closer together. So with this program, you may find that you've got some really strong lifelong connections as a result. From a career perspective, no matter what happens, you're guaranteed to get several references from your resume and have the opportunity to meet many different employers throughout this experience. And what's nice about most of our partners are that they all belong to groups of companies, which means if you happen to be placed in Banff, that location in Banff might have another property in Jasper or Edmonton or Toronto or in other regions outside of Canada. And it's really great to be able to have that reference on your resume and to have somebody that is your career connection that you can reach out to ask for an opportunity in a different city following this program. So there's lots of long-term career connections. So in essence, this program is kind of like the ultimate adventure, tourism, and hospitality co-op program, where every 4 to 6 months, you and a group of 3 friends, at least groups of 4 tend to be living with each other, you and a group of 3 friends will travel across Canada and move to work in a new city, doing a totally different job in a totally different location, with the opportunity to gain free housing, a salary, tips, bonuses, and a number of other benefits as well. So we're going to talk more about those in specific in a moment, but let's talk a little bit now. I created this program because of 2 major problems. One, the Canadian career landscape, we're having a very challenging situation trying to find employees to fill shortages in a wide range of locations. Now, these aren't places like Toronto and Vancouver because there are a lot of people to work there. But these also aren't tiny little hole-in-the-wall terrible locations either. In many cases, they're Banff, they're Rocky Mountain towns, they're Muskoka and tourist areas that just doesn't have a strong local population that needs to supplement for their very busy seasons. So we noticed that that was a challenge, and we realized that youth employment was on the rise. Young people have no idea what they want to do with their lives. They don't want to commit to anything permanently. I know this because I'm in the same boat. I'm not ready to make any permanent commitments for the rest of my life. So we started holding focus groups. And I started asking a group of people what they would be looking for in order to travel halfway across the country to fill some of these roles. And they told me a lot. They told me that they want the opportunity to travel and explore. They want the opportunity to go on crazy, crazy adventures. They want the opportunity to have seasonal placement so that that job has to have a start date, but that it can't be that I have to work in one job for the next year. That's too far in the future. What if I don't like it? What if I don't like the town? We need to know that there is a start date and an end date. And that end date isn't so far in the future that I have to commit to that for the rest of my life. So we learned that we have to keep those placements short, and we settled on about 4 to 6 months. We learned that people want to travel with their friends, and even if they're applying alone, they want to make new friends. And we don't want to do this on our own. We don't want to jump on a plane and fly to Fort McMurray and live there by ourselves and go through this on our own. So what we determined is we tend to match people into groups of 2 or 4 at least. In many cases, we have 16, 20 people at a location. And you're going to travel, live, and work with those individuals for the entire time you're in the program. So you really have the opportunity to get to know somebody, to become really very tight with that group, and to love the experience as you move forward. So yes, I received a question. This is the program where we'll be living with somebody else. In this program, your housing is covered, and you will have at least 1 roommate. We're going to talk more about that. Generally, 99% of the locations, you will not have more than 1 person in your room. I believe the only placement where that is a case is not in the program as a result of they only participate in the summer. We also want to make sure that these opportunities give you lots and lots of a chance to experience multiple different areas in a property. So I always get different questions about the specific jobs, and we're going to jump into those in a moment. So just so you understand where we came up with the idea for Mobilize, that this wasn't just something that out of the blue just that we thought would be a great program. Our parent company was called Diamond Global, and we were the largest international recruiters for the tourism and hospitality industry in Canada. That means that we would find really great people overseas for positions in Canada that Canadians weren't necessarily filling because they were in remote locations or they were seasonal properties, and Mobilize didn't exist, so it just wasn't exciting to go and take these jobs yet. So we had been doing that for about 26 years. About 2.5 years ago, the government made big changes to that program, making it impossible to bring in people from overseas to fill a lot of these roles. We had to change very, very quickly. And we did. We innovated by creating the Mobilize program, and we learned what it would take to get young people really excited about the opportunity to jump and head over to some of these businesses and some of these locations. So that's where Mobilize came from. It's evolved many times since we launched in January 2015. We sent a very small initial test group of 26 young people, and they're on the bottom right. of your screen right now, you can see some of them out for the initial group. And as a result, we've since sent out over 250 people, and we're growing like crazy. And the goal is to get to 500 new people in the program any given year. So who are we looking for with the Mobilize program? Who is our ideal mobilizer? Well, you're going to learn that we cast a very wide. We don't necessarily have a specific mold that we have to fill to find the perfect mobilizer, because there is no perfect mobilizer. The biggest thing we're looking for above all else, besides some of these small criteria that you see in front of you, is the right attitude. Now, yes, generally we're looking for people between the ages of 18 and 30. The reason for that is if you're younger than 18, I don't want to put you in a position where your friends and other people are going to be drinking and you're not legally able to drink yet. So if you're 18 and applying to the program, I'll probably send you to Alberta, where the drinking age is 18. You need to be legally able to work in Canada, because right now with a program like this, we cannot sponsor somebody from overseas to fill this role. So this means that you need to be a Canadian, a permanent resident, or have an open work permit in Canada. And if you have a question about that or you're curious, send me a message. We can talk a little later about the specifics. You need to have a clear police record. Right now, we're looking for people who can pass those police clearances, mainly because you will be sharing a room with another individual, and I need to know that you feel safe, not worrying about getting murdered with an axe in the middle of the night. So all of these individuals will have clear police records. Right now, we're looking for people who have graduated high school, because one of the biggest reasons is we need to know that you're committed and that you'll finish this program. And if you've dropped out of high school, depending on the specific reason, it might be an initial red flag letting us know that you're not in it for the long haul. You're not going to work out your 6-month contract if you dropped out in grade 11. But the most important thing with this program, and I cannot stress this enough, is the right attitude. And this is what I mean by that. When it's -40 and you're in the Rocky Mountains in a small town in the middle of a blizzard, and it is very short days, the sun comes up at 10, 11, it goes down at 3 or 4, you're working long hours because it's a busy day in the resort, there's not so much going on once you finish that position. I need to know who's going to be comfortable and have the strong will to be able to push through the homesickness. I cannot stress this enough. If you are looking for an easy year, if you're looking for the opportunity to travel around Canada and get drunk and party and have a nonstop whatever, this is not for you. This is not an easy program. It wouldn't be worth it if this was easy. The intention of this program is to break outside of your comfort zone. The intention of this program is to break this box, this bubble that you've been living in your whole life, and find out what else is out there. Experience life the way other people have been doing it for years, but you might not have the exposure to. We want to change your perception. We want to break down your walls so that you can finally grow to determine what you are actually made of. This is not for everyone. Some people want a very comfortable job where they know exactly what's going to happen every day, and they know exactly every tiny detail of what the next year or two is going to be like. And that's okay. This program wasn't made for that group. This program was made for the adventurous or the people who want the opportunity to adventure. Will be challenging. You will do things you've never done before. You will push yourself in ways you cannot imagine. And we are looking for the strong-willed who will succeed when the going gets tough. Because at the end of the day, everybody has a limit. And we need to know that those that enroll in this program can push through their loneliness, can push through their homesickness, and really are looking to define their future. So that's what we're looking for. That's who an ideal mobilizer is. If you'd like to meet some of them, head over to YouTube, punch in Mobilize Jobs, and a lot of the mobilizers that are already in the field or who have completed the program have submitted videos talking about themselves and their experience. It's a great way to learn more from them. They are unedited. They have nothing to do with us. Those were submitted from the mobilizers themselves. So that's a great place to look to determine more about the experience. So where will I be going? We have lots of different placements in the program, and they have grown so significantly. As a matter of fact, my main job within Mobilize is to add new businesses and new jobs to the program every single session. Right now we are in BC, Alberta, Saskatchewan, Manitoba, Ontario, and the Yukon. I am dying to expand to new locations, and every single day we get more and more on board. We've got lots of great ski resorts on board. We've got lots of great variety on board, and there is more and more and more in the program every single day. The goal of the program is to give you the opportunity to experience as much as possible. We have lots of Rocky Mountain placements. We have lots of rural placements. We have lots of middle of nowhere placements. As a matter of fact, I may just have 2 spaces to work north in the Yukon territories for the entire winter. That's going to be a volunteer-only placement because I'm not sending anybody there against their will, but it is an incredible once-in-a-lifetime experience. These are not just nonsense hotels. This is not just a Super 8 on the side of the highway that we walked up to and said, do you want some staff? The type of partners that we have in this program are committed to employing and fostering Canadian youth. I had to sell them on only taking a candidate for 6 months because they are looking for long-term talent. So what that means is if you are the right fit, if you are the right person who is eager, who is motivated, and who has a great attitude, these employers are going to want to invest in you. They're going to want to train you and build you, and they're going to want you to fall in love with them so you stay permanently. So what that means is, and this isn't going to happen for everybody that deploys because some people are not going to take this to heart, but what that means is the opportunity for growth is exponential. With the right attitude, the references you'll get, the career opportunities you'll get are endless. And some of my best players, my best mobilizers in the field, leave this program with 4 full-time job offers. So there's lots and lots of opportunity out there for you. So a big question I always get, what will I be doing in this program? Positions are going to range. The point of this is not to put you in a role that you've been doing for the last 10 years. Because why join a program like this? You know what bartending is going to be like if you've been a bartender for 10 years. You know what front desk is going to be like if you've worked in that capacity. The intention of this program is to give you a full 360-degree view of a variety of industries. So this is your chance. Do you ever wanted to train in a kitchen? Do you ever want to develop your knife skills? Do you ever want to learn how to handle back-of-house operations in a hotel? This is your chance. And the best part about this is it's not a long-term forever commitment. It's 4 to 6 months. So you can do anything for 4 to 6 months. Take advantage of this. Use this opportunity, because if you ever want to work in management in one of these industries, I can guarantee you, you will have the respect of your team members if you can say, I've been there, I've done that job. So there are lots of different jobs. We've got positions in hospitality, tourism, restaurant, customer service, retail. The goal of the program is to see the industry from the front and the back of house. So there is a very good chance you may find yourself in a housekeeping placement. Many of my candidates loved it. They may not want to do this for the rest of their lives, but they tell me that, well, I never thought I would like this, but I get to show up. I don't have a supervisor screaming at me every single day. I know exactly how many rooms I need to clean. I don't have to deal with customers. And it's almost zen-like. I go in, it's dirty, I leave, it's clean, and I don't have to go home and worry about any terrible things that happened to me that day because it is consistent. So take advantage of this opportunity. Do something you never would have thought you wanted to do and learn from it. Remember, it's almost more important than finding out what you love is what you don't like. So you don't waste years studying or chasing a path that just makes you miserable. So learn how to do the tough jobs. Use this as an opportunity to experience these industries. There's also lots of opportunity to cross-train within a specific role. You know, I've got specific employers that bring people on board as generic hospitality employees, and then over the course of the first few weeks determine where they think they would be the right fit for those roles. So it's always important to go in with a great attitude, to be positive. You have no idea where you might end up as a result of that. So let's talk about money. because I know this is a big question with most people. I want to start right now by saying this is not a $1 million program. If you're looking to travel for a year and save enough money to buy a house, this is not right for you. What this will do is get you to the stage where next year you can make a lot more money, but that is not the intention of this. So if your goal is to make a ton of money, I'll wait right now. You can log off. Thank you for your time. I'll take a moment here and let you guys leave. Okay. So for those of you who are still around, just because you will be making regional minimum wage, it doesn't mean that that is your take-home at the end of the day. Okay, so what we've done with this program is, as a result of really comprehensive conversations with our staff, we've determined what's important to them. And the biggest thing was free housing. So what we've done with this program is we guarantee as close to full-time hours as possible. You get regional minimum wage plus 4% on top of that for every single hour that you work in the program. And that varies province to province. In many capacities, you get tips and gratuities. So if you're a server, that might be the case. If you're a housekeeper, sometimes people tip. That's yours to keep. And my personal favorite, every single month, your supervisors are going to give you a very, very, very simple performance evaluation. And it's on basic things like punctuality, attendance, eagerness to learn, plays well with others, etc. And depending on those scores, you get a direct cash bonus that gets put into an account that you get at the end of your placement. So on top of all of that, you will receive free accommodations throughout this entire process. No accommodations deductions. You're not paying anything above and beyond. You move in, you unpack. Usually there's blankets and pillows unless otherwise notified. All of that is taken care of for you. So that's a pretty phenomenal thing. Nobody else in the country does that. That's something we're able to offer. And when you crunch all the numbers, especially in places where rent could be $1,000, $2,000 a month, your wages are actually closer to 17, 18, 19 bucks an hour. But some people can't see that, and this program is not right for those people. Okay? So lots of opportunities exist for you. There's lots of different components here. Minimum wage varies province to province, but you will get enough to survive and live off of, and your bonus will be paid out at the end of each placement so you can cover transportation to the next location. We've had lots of great press. We've had lots of great national news. There's a great way to check it out. Just go on the website to Mobilize Jobs, and you can actually see some of it yourself, just in case you know, a lot of people tell me they've never heard of this before, and how can this be true? You know, it's new, it's exciting, and it is awesome. And the Canadian news networks are picking up on it, and it's been really fun. And yeah, being on Canada AM was a really cool experience. So let's talk a little bit about kind of where I'll be living, what's going to be involved in the specifics of this program. You know, one of the big questions I get is housing. Where will I be living throughout this experience? What is that experience going to be like? Well, housing's going to change. Placement to placement, it's going to be a very different experience. I've got certain properties that rented out beautiful houses for their staff. I've got certain properties who rented out dorm rooms at the local college, properties who have rented out hostels. They've even put people up in the hotel rooms, in the hotel themselves, others that have cabins, like a summer camp environment. So there's lots and lots of different styles of housing throughout this program. The one general, most consistent component here is that you will have a roommate throughout this experience. You will be living with one other person. I think I only have one property, as I mentioned before, that there's 4 people to a room, but that's extremely rare, and you'll be aware of that well before you deploy. Most of the housing is really phenomenal. You know, it's always safe. They're usually very close to work. It's been a very incredible experience so far. I would say in 95% of the locations there's Wi-Fi, everything is covered there. If there's not, that's something that you can get on your own. I usually encourage people to find a cell phone that has scalable data just in case. So that means that if there's no Wi-Fi on site, then you can really beef up your data plan to make sure you can still stream Netflix. So lots and lots of different options. Housing has been a phenomenal success. We've got some partners that have beautiful, you have your own bedroom, but that's rare. We've got other partners that it is dorm style and you have one other person living with you. Usually you won't be sharing a bathroom with more than 4 people, and it's been a really great success with this program so far. There are no financial costs to mobilize to join this program, but there are some things that you will need to pay for in order to deploy with this experience. Those include the cost of your own travel. This program is an adventure. This program is your chance to see Canada and to explore. If I hear one more time, oh, I can't afford a flight ticket, I will lose my mind. That is not the point of exploring Canada. You will be introduced to your team and usually notified of your location a month in advance. So take a couple of days, take a couple of weeks, rent a car, carpool across the country. Have you ever seen Lake Superior? Have you ever gone to Manitoba? Can you imagine what's in Saskatchewan? There is so much out there for you to see. Stop wasting money on expensive plane tickets. You'd be amazed at how many people tell me they couldn't bring enough bags because they had to pay for their expensive additional luggage costs. Flying is a waste of time and money with this program. Take your chance to explore. This is your chance. Go on an epic bus trip across the country. It's like $70 and take stops in different cities so you can actually explore and see. So I strongly recommend that you see Canada, that you explore, that you travel, and that you don't try to budget a flight into this because, yeah, it's going to get you there fast, but you're going to be able to see 2 airports along the way. The other costs that come up throughout this program are the required licenses and training programs that our employers require in order to work there. So one is if you're going to be working in a capacity around alcohol, which many of you will, you'll need your regional liquor license. We'll be able to provide you with all this information once you start the interview process, but that goes by the name of SmartServe or ProServe or Serving It Right, depending on where you're located in Canada. There's also WMIS certification that you're going to need assistance with. And finally, there's a course created by eMerit, which is a hospitality, tourism, and travel course that you sit and you do online. It takes a day. It's a great way to get you from here to here. It's kind of like an initial crash course for working in a hotel. And a lot of our partners really like to see it. It was created by the Tourism Council of Canada, and it's a really great thing to have on your resume, and I think that's like $70 or something. All in all, this entire cost, you know, it's not an extensive, incredible amount of money. None of this money comes to Mobilize. We make all of our money from the employers paying us fees. I had a great question that just came in. What if we already have these licenses? Fantastic. Then you don't need to take them. All you need to do is provide a copy so that we don't need to be able, so we can submit that to the partners. Okay, we are simply a group of young people trying to help other young people find great jobs. That's what this program is all about. We're not some massive corporate bureaucracy or some massive government behemoth. This doesn't take 10,000 steps to get through this experience. Okay, it's a private organization that's coming up with some really incredible adventure opportunities. Other than that, there's no main fees or any costs that come up throughout this program. If you have a really hard time coming up with that $100 or so to pay for your training costs, there are regional employment centers in your location. Okay, we've worked with Employment Ontario. I know Work BC has one. I think there's one in Alberta. I bet that every single province has their own version of a provincial employment center. And if you walk in and you say, I have a great job, but I need some assistance covering this cost, they will be able to help you out. But you have to drive that. We can't guide you through that process. That has to come from you. Most of the time, it's not so tough to be able to borrow $50 or $100. If it really is, I don't know, I can't help you there. Take up one shift at a bar or something to be able to make enough to cover that cost. But usually you can borrow it, and you will get paid in your first pay period, and you can pay that cost back. So all in all, that's the Mobilize experience in a nutshell. I'm going to stay online as long as there are questions. If you're still excited about this program, if I haven't scared you away, head on over to the website, send an email to apply@mobilizejobs.ca, speak to Michael. He's a rock star recruiter, and he's going to help process your application. Alternatively, submit an application on the website. If you have friends you want to travel with, make sure you apply together and notify us of who they are. I can make sure that you guys are roommates. I can make sure that you're living, working, and traveling together for the entire time you're with the program, but you have to let us know. We've got lots of great jobs starting right now, and many that kick into place September, October, November, but I do have some vacancies ready to deploy tomorrow. So there are great positions, there are great opportunities, and we are looking for only the best, brightest, most motivated, most passionate individuals who have the most adventurous spirit. So if that's you, get online, submit that now. My name's Ben. I go by Benjamin as well. You'll meet me throughout the process if you do decide to go forward. I'm very heavy on Facebook, so if you go onto the Facebook page or the YouTube page or the Instagram channel, you know, there's a lot of different mediums to get in touch with me and to get in touch with mobilizers who are in the field already. You don't need to take my word for it. You don't need to take anybody in the head office's word for it. You can speak to the mobilizers directly. They're usually very happy to answer your questions, either on Facebook or on YouTube or on Instagram. So if there's any other questions, I'd be happy to take them now. Any other questions about this program so far? I had one earlier. The people we are living with are strangers, right? If you have people you'd like to apply with, I can make sure that you guys are traveling together. Alternatively, we're all strangers until we get to know each other. And one of the big things that I've encountered throughout this experience is our interview team, they all go by one major rule. Is this the type of person I want to sit down in a bar with, have a beer with, and chat about our lives? We're all adventurous people, the type of people who sign up for a program like this to be flung halfway across the country to go on their great Canadian adventure. They're all adventurous, they're all outgoing, they tend to have great personalities, and we usually find that if you're strangers going into this, you're best friends by the time you hit week 1. So it's not really an opportunity to meet a lot of strangers. I mean, you will in each location you go to, but I think you'll find the Mobilize family is very, very tight. We also have a closed Facebook group for everybody who's in the program at any given time, where people can share tips. They can share couches if you want to travel to some of the other locations that have mobilizers. They can share adventure stories, photos, advice. You know, there's lots of, we're a really tight-knit family at Mobilize. So there's a lot of thought goes into this experience. Next question, can you bring your laptop to do schoolwork that's online? Absolutely, that's a fantastic idea. You may find yourself with some extra time and to take a course or to do some studying while you're out there is a great idea. You're going to get at least 2 days off a week anyways. You know, that is a really productive way to spend that time. I hope you don't spend all your time sitting in your apartment on your computer, because there is so much to see and so much of an adventure out there for you. But yeah, that's a great opportunity. Just remember, many of the locations have Wi-Fi on site, but some do not, so some you'll be required to go out and locate. Or what I recommend is to have a scalable data plan on your cell phone, whether it be an unlimited plan or that you can wirelessly hotspot from, because some locations will not have it. Most do, some do not. So just be prepared for that experience. Any other questions for me in the meantime? No, nothing else? Oh, one more. Can you also do your driver's test anywhere? Yeah, different provinces have different rules. Usually they're pretty consistent. You can just swap them out once you get your license. Many cases you need to have a car, but there are places, I believe, different driving schools that will let you borrow theirs to go to the test. So yeah, in Canada you can do your driver's test anywhere. And it's a good idea. If you have a car, that's definitely a benefit. If you have access to a vehicle, it's a good idea to have one. It's not mandatory, but you may find you want to go on a weekend adventure. You may find your great new friends want you to take them skiing. And having the freedom of a vehicle is an amazing asset to this program. So not a requirement at all, but it will boost your popularity points by at least 30%. I've seen it 100 times. You will be the most popular person in the program. So I think that's just about it for questions for the time being. Everything else can be asked during the interview process. Okay, you'll find our interview process is not aggressive, it's not scary, it's an opportunity to get to know the people behind the scenes at Mobilize and to just have a conversation. We want to know if this is going to be a good fit for you and if you're going to be a good fit for the program, and that's in essence the interview in a nutshell. We're not going to ask dumb questions. We just want to make sure you know what you're getting yourself involved with and that you know, you're not going to murder your roommates in your sleep. So we're going to take good care of you. If you're still not scared away, you still want to go on this kind of adventure, you still trust us to send you halfway across the country because you're crazy and you want to see what Canada has to offer, then you have that chance to explore. In the meantime, I'm Benjamin. It was a pleasure chatting with you. I look forward to meeting all of you, and I hope you have an absolutely great day. Bye for now. Enjoy the rest of your day, and let us know if you have any questions. Remember, apply at mobilizejobs.ca, send a message to Mike, and he'll walk you through the process. Have a great day. Thanks again, and goodbye for now.